Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Wakakadash. Shalom to the elders, Wa'akim Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from BernardNews.org, my first ever time on this news website of this news article, particular matter at hand. And this is a news article from BernardNews.org, as I mentioned before, as of March the 7th, 2024, and it reads, it says, Malaysian Prime Minister defends China again, says it's hindering its ascent will rise tensions. It says Malaysia leader warned on Thursday that any actions to include the economic rise of China will upset Beijing enough that it will heighten tensions in the region, alluding to increased China assertiveness in the disputed South China Sea, most of which Beijing claims. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, if I pronounced that right, added that allowing a country to grow doesn't mean ignoring its violation of international laws. In China's eyes, hostility remain reactions to its rising, representing nothing less than an attempt to deny their legitimate place in history, Admar said during a speech at the Australian National University in Canberra. The obstacles being placed against China's economic and technological advancements will only further incinerating such grievance. Southeast Asia and the Pacific region has been tensions rising in recent years as the United States attempts to counter China's influence there. The South China Sea has been becoming a theater for bigger power rivals as Washington has accused Beijing of undermining freedom in navigation. However, according to the Enbar, how countries' response to China's economical and technological advancements will determine whether DNet or Discord characterize Southeast Asia. What countries should show, he said, is a measure of empathy to put ourselves in their shoes to see how others see us, and Wall said in the address. The Prime Minister speech was headlined Navigating the Geopolitical Current Malaysia and Australia's roles in the Asia Pacific. He's delivered the speech in the Australian federal capital after a 3-day speech. The ASEAN Australian Summit in Melbourne, where the main topics of discussions were the South China Sea and Israel-Hamas war. Because I'll say not that long ago, you've been having, increasing border disputes between China and the Philippines, and I believe Australia and the Philippines recently did a military exercise drills over there in the South China Sea, and then those territorial islands over there. While you having rising tensions been heating up for the past couple of years, as he mentioned in that speech. So there's been a lot of activities over there in the South China Sea and the territorial islands over there, where you have many other nations trying to claim the islands over there, not too far from the South China Sea and those territorial islands. Right along with the South China Seas, our tensions are heating up between China and Taiwan, and the United States versus China over Taiwan. So you definitely got a lot of activities that's taking place over there in that region, It says he delivered a speech in the Australian federal capital as a 3-day speech. The ASEAN Australia Summit in Melbourne, where the main topic of discussion was the South China Sea and Israel-Hamas war. It says, while speaking out about China's rising attempt to employ the advancement of Malaysia's prime minister did not mention which country was taking such actions. However, earlier this week, he reiterated a comment he made last month about how the United States and the West were displaying China's of Furbuya, if I pronounced that right. It says at a press conference on Monday, he was asked why he made that accusation in the interview British Day last month. He answered in inactive and a pressure that Southeast Asia countries are under to remain neutral as Washington and Beijing tries one up each other in the region. And Anwar said Malaysia is often criticized for what some Western countries believe it is the side tilt towards China. My reference to China football is because and against the criticism leveled against us for the additional focus to China. My response is right now China seems to be leading investors in Malaysia. Anwar said being a friend with the US or Europe doesn't prolong Malaysia from being a friend of its neighbor China as well, he said. And if they have problems with China, they should not impose it on us. We do not have a problem with China, so that's why I refer to the issue of Chinophobia in the West. He said, Washington consensus is gradually eroding. Enron, wasn't done criticizing the U.S. or the West. In his speech, Canberra, he noted that changes brought about the phenomena such as the globalization and alter U.S. foreign policies and not positively. The globalization do not work for the U.S. as it did for Asia's workers. And long wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have taken a toll on Americans, Anwar says. The upshoot is a preference for leaders who are more transactional with the rest of the world and those who profess to put America first, he said. Anwar said the world must always recognize that Washington consensus is gradually eroding if it has not altogether disappeared. He was referring to a set of market-oriented policies for the developing world that global financial institutes such as the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund support. We should therefore not be surprised when the forms such as BRICS start to gain purchases. If one avenue from asserting the new realities including others, it will take place, he said. BRICS is a intergovernmental organization comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and Egypt, and Ethiopia, and Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. According, we should not take for granted the Western perspective only. The future world order will be embracing universally. There is growing impatience on how global institutes are falling to reform themselves, Anwar said. China's officials appreciate Anwar comments. The Malaysian Prime Minister recently commented have not gone unnoticed by China's officials. Xing Zhafang, minister at the Chinese embassy in Malaysia, expressed his appreciation on Wednesday. The development of China is an opportunity for the world rather than a threat for anyone, Renora, the Malaysian state-run news agency, quoted him as saying during a visit to officials of Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, China Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Thursday emphasized the importance of economic diplomacy. China cannot develop without the world, and the world cannot develop without China, he told reporters. After the second sessions of the 14th National Congress, according to a statement on the Foreign Minister website. Ben Bad mouthing China will definitely backfire on itself, and misjudging China's will lead to a missed opportunity, he said. So they're gonna read all the rest of that. So with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying. This is just a news article with due to rising tensions as far as economical powers, whose side to choose, and the recent tensions been rising over there in the South China Sea. But mostly it was going into the economical perspective of this news article. And as he mentioned, the BRICS nation, because we're definitely going to be seeing the BRICS nation trying to overthrow the American dollar and the euro dollar as well too. And then the ongoing rising tensions that we be seeing what's taking place over there in the South China Sea as well too. So with that, matter of fact, I'm gonna bring out some scriptures. So I'm gonna get into that Revelations, as he did mention the BRICS nations. This is Revelations 3:13 to verse 16. And it calls all, both small and great, rich or poor, free or bond, to receive a charagma, which is a M-A-R-K, in their right hand, H-A-N-D, or in their F-O-R-E-H-E-A-D-S. Right, because this is going to be a new form of currency, the pushing of this RFID, CHIP, digital currency, digital dollar, digital ID, digital wallet, digital dollar, and this is what they're pushing for. That's why we've been seeing the BRICS nations. They've been formed since 2015. And they're gonna overthrow the American dollar and drop the American dollar, because very soon the paper dollar throughout the whole world is gonna be a thing of the past as the new form of currency, which rubies, gold, and silver, and yuan, for a prime example, and the pushing of this technology that they want you to store in your body in order to buy or sell. That's gonna be the new economic. That's gonna be a new form of economics, a new form of currency, a new form of way of buying or selling. As the Malaysian president was mentioning in that news article, in that speech, as he visited over in Australia, while at the same time, in the balance, you had the back and forth rising tensions between, Australia and the Philippines together against China over there in the South China Sea, and potentially stirring up more tensions, because China, they having especially from an economical perspective, trying to be the next economical power. As the prime minister was saying that China has made a comment about the prime minister of Malaysia, was saying that about China criticizing them, potentially might stirring up tensions due to the fact of trying to have border claim over there in the South China Sea. Huh? Huh? Yeah, don't record things. So as you were seeing, what's going on, the ongoing dispute over there in the South China Sea. So those tensions are only going to escalate more and more and more. So I just want to add a sad note to that. So I'm bring out that Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. So those border disputes over there in the South China Sea, because you seeing many different activities over there. Like I mentioned before, you having the ongoing escalations between China and the Philippines, and then you got China and Taiwan. Tensions heating up over there, so it's a lot of activities that's going on over there from a nation from nation against nation perspective, and from an economical perspective as well too. So you got so it's a balance between both. As I bring up, the Revelations 13 verse 16 through verse 18. Now I'm gonna bring out the Joel 3 and verse 9. So it's going to be a lot of increasing many activities that's taking place over there in the South China Sea, from rising up, nations rising up against one another, nations rising up against one another from that perspective, and from an economical perspective as well too. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Right, so you're still going to have continual increasing escalations between both sides, with the China versus Philippines, then China versus Taiwan, so it's only going to increase. Then you got other Southeast Asian countries trying to claim islands over there, and then you got China as being the big bully, as the Prime Minister of Malaysia made that comment. In I believe one of the representations of China, they had replied to that, so it's gonna be back and forth, bitter back between, the people over there in that area. I just want to say that as a sad note. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3 and verse 10. Beat your plowshares and the swords and the plenty hooks and the spears, and let the weak say I'm strong. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying, from bernardnews.org as of March the 7th, 2024. As it says again, the Malaysian Prime Minister defend China again, saying hinder its ascent will raise tensions. Right, raise tensions from an economical standpoint, from a South China Sea border dispute, and rising tensions from that dispute as well too, because everything's a balance between the both. So with that, once again, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying. With that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Shalom to the elders, Wa'akim Wa'akwaf. And until next time, I will say Shalom.